Okay, this is 1.4 student notes. This is more exact values. At the top, this is showing you that if you have sine squared of 60 degrees, you can rewrite this as sine of 60 and then square it. So you can find the value of sine of 60 degrees, which is root 3 over 2, and then square it to get 3/4. So the first thing that I would do is find, on number 1, cosine of 10 pi over 3. Now, since we don't know the pi over 3 triangles or unit circle, let's multiply by 2 to get 20 pi over 6. And let's find out where that is on the unit circle. So if you need to count around, and it looks like it's going to be down here in quadrant 3, that is going to be a 60-degree triangle. You set that up, that's going to be 2, this is going to be 1, this is root 3. Now I need to find cosine of that, and cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent over hypotenuse is 1 over 2. Checking with all students take calculus, this should be negative. And now I'm going to multiply by 5. Okay, doing the same thing over here. It's already got a base of 2, or a denominator of 2. And so let's draw that triangle. Counting around is more than, well, it's 1 less than this one, which is nice. So it's still going to be over here in this quadrant. And it looks like this is going to be a 30-degree triangle with 1, root 3, and this is 2. So if I find sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse is going to be 1/2. All students take calculus, that makes this negative. And then I need to multiply by 3 because this is 3 sine, so I'm going to pull a 3 out here. Okay, so if I multiply these out, this is negative 5 over 2, and this is going to become a positive 3 over 2, which gives me a negative 1 as my answer. Okay, over here, I need to find out where negative 3/4 is. So again, you're looking at, well, this time we're looking at 4s on the bottom, and these happen to be the same, which is really nice. We are going in the opposite direction, this way, okay? So if you're drawing your force, this is 1, 2, and this is 3 right here. So your triangle is right here, and the force is a 45-degree triangle with 1, 1, root 2. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that would be root 2 over 2. Checking all students take calculus in this area right here. This would be negative, multiplied times 5. If I do sine in this triangle, that's opposite over hypotenuse. So again, that's going to be root 2 over 2. Checking all students take calculus, that's going to be negative. Oh, can't really see that. So there's my negative. And I don't have a number to multiply by, so that's nice. So this is negative 5 root 2 over 2. And this is minus root 2 over 2. And this simplifies. You could put a 1 there if you want to. This simplifies to negative 6 root 2 over 2. And I can simplify these whole numbers or the coefficients, so that's negative 3. Wow, craziness. Negative 3 root 2. And that should be your answer. Okay, number 3. So cosecant, and that's squared. So remember, I'm going to find cosecant of 2/3 first and then square it. All right, so I'm going to change this to a 6, so that would be 4 pi over 6, and look at that triangle, or that part of the unit circle, and it looks like it's up here. 4 pi over 6, and that's going to be a 60-degree. So there's my 2, root 3, and there's 1. Cosecant is HO, so that's going to be 2 over root 3. And remember, I'm squaring it. Find your ratio, then square. Do the same thing with tangent. This is 7 over 6. So 7 over 6, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's 7. This is going to be 30 degrees. Here's 2, 1, and here's root 3. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. This is going to be 1 over root 3. So root 3 over 3. Whoops, I didn't rationalize that. So this is squared. It's okay, it's going to work out in the end. So if I square that, that's going to be 4 over, if I square root 3, that's going to be 3. Plus, I square this is going to be 3 over 9. This reduces to 1/3, and then I get a final answer of 5/3. So rationalized and not rationalized, it didn't matter because I squared it and the answer came out. Okay, let's look at number 4. I would go ahead and find the answers before I worry about this division. So let's find sine of 11 pi over 6. So 11 pi over 6 is almost a full circle. So that's over here, and that's going to be 30 degrees. So this is 2, 1, and root 3. 11 pi over 6 is going to be 1/2, and it is negative, checking your all students take calculus, divided by 2 pi over 3. I would definitely change it to a 6, so that's going to be 4 pi over 6. So I'm going to draw that down here. 4 pi over 6 ends up in this quadrant, and it's going to be a 60 degrees. So that's going to be 2 root 3, and this is 1. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so again, that's 1/2. Checking for negatives. Okay, some of you have heard this as leave, change, flip, or leave, change, opposite. So I'm going to rewrite it like this. Here is my leave. Here's my negative 1/2 divided by negative 1/2. So I'm going to leave negative 1/2. I'm going to change, and I'm going to flip or take the opposite. So if I flip it, it's negative 2 over 1. So multiplying these straight across gives me a positive 1. Okay, my last two problems. So if you graph 135 over here, it's in quadrant 2, and I don't care about 135. Remember, that's not your reference angle. So I need my reference angle. So build your triangle. So in order to get my reference angle, you're going to have to say 180 minus 135. So this would be a 45 triangle. So this is root 2, 1, and 1. So if I take cotangent, that's adjacent over opposite. So that would be 1 over 1. And this would be negative. And now I need to square it. Okay, tangent of 60. 60 degrees. Let's see, I'm running out of room here. I'm going to have to come over here. Tangent of 60 degrees is in the first quadrant right here, which is really nice. This is 2. This is root, whoops. This is 1. This is root 3. So tangent is opposite over adjacent, so this is going to be root 3. And they want us to take it to the 4th power. Remember, everything in the first quadrant is positive. Okay, sine of 180. So 180 is over here. So this is negative 1 and 0. Remember, this is cosine and this is sine. So sine of 180 is 0. And I'm taking it to the 4th power. So this doesn't matter. Negative 1 squared is 1. The root 3 to the 4th power is 9. And so my final answer is 10. That turned out pretty easy. Okay, our very last one. Cosine of 5 pi over 2. I would change to a 4th power, or not 4th power, times 4. So this would be times 2, sorry. So this would be 10 pi over 4, and now everything is over 4. So 10 pi over 4, if you look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 0, 1. Cosine is your first one, so this is 0. So my first one is 0 times cosine of negative 5 pi over 4, so we're going to go backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know what? I don't even care what I get because right here, I'm multiplying times 0, so I know that's going to be 0. Sine of negative pi, well, no matter which way I go, if I do positive or negative, I need to find sine of negative pi. This is negative 1, 0. This is cosine, and this is sine. So I have 0. And I'm not even going to find this value because, again, I'm multiplying times 0. 0 times something. 0 times something. So 0 minus 0 gives you 0. Save ourselves some work. Okay, if you have questions, bring them to class.